Let's call to order. There we go, I got it. All right, at this time, Mrs. Davis, would you love to lead us in the pledge? Sure. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you. At this time, we are going to have a very brief public hearing on two very important things, our breakfast program and our student internet policy. With that, I would like to turn it over to Superintendent Beam if he has anything to say.
Sure,
Otherwise,
just
right
to say
the-
that
Sorry.
Mrs. Davis will introduce our first public hearing topic tonight, our consideration of our breakfast program.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Beam. Good evening, board members. So this evening, I'm here to speak briefly about the breakfast program. And the revised school code, section 1272A, requires school districts that have buildings that are less than 20% free and reduced lunch to hold a public hearing if you are not going to offer a district-wide breakfast program, and Forest Hills does not do that. All of our schools are below the 20% free and reduced lunch. So it's our recommendation that we continue with those schools for the 2022-2023 school year. And those schools are at the high school level, we have Eastern and Northern. At the middle school level, we have Eastern and Northern Hills. And at our elementary, we have Meadowbrook, Northern Trails, and Orchard View. And finally, we also offer a breakfast program at our Transition Center. These schools have been in our breakfast program for a number of years, as long as I've been here in the district. And we're recommending to continue with just those sites. Any questions?
Excellent. Are there any public comments about the breakfast program? Okay. At this time, we would like to talk a little bit about the student internet policy. Is there anything you'd like to say to kick that off?
Just that our technology director is here, and Susan will describe a little bit of our requirements under federal law for this portion of our public hearing. Susan.
All right, good evening. Okay, Internet Safety Policy. The district follows the requirements of the Children's Internet Protection Act. Oops, let me get us over here. All right, the Children's Internet Protection Act was signed into law as an internet safety measure designed to protect students from pornography and other inappropriate materials on the internet. Any schools or library that receives E-rate funding for internet access, internal connections, and basic maintenance of internal connections is subject to these SIPA regulations. There are two basic components, or two components that make up SIPA. The first one is just a basic requirement, which requires two items: a technology protection measure that blocks internet access to visual depictions that are deemed obscene, pornographic, or harmful to minors, as well as the other requirement of a public adoption and enforcement of an internet safety policy. The second component is around E-rate funding. The requirements from E-rate require the district to have a policy that addresses the monitoring of online activities in the school, also safety and security measures for electronic communications, unauthorized access, and the disclosure of personal information. And the ways that Forest Hills complies with these requirements is that the district filters, we use filtering provided locally and individually for all internet-enabled computers. So all district-owned computers, whether on campus or off campus, are filtered using an appliance called Content Keeper. Our minors are supervised, monitored, and educated with resources from Common Sense Media, as well as items from ISTE. Unauthorized access and disclosure of personal information are prohibited around the district. And the other requirement is that we hold a public notice and hearing, which we're doing right here. Are there any questions? Right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. At this time, are there any public comments about the student internet policy? And this, you can make any public, it does have to be about, in this case, this.
Directly about this.
Go for it.
So
Thanks.
obviously, the censoring or banning of books, the internet is the one thing we protect. So just the elephant in the room is we've been talking about our library books, but we're here now protecting the internet. That just seems a little bit contradictory. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. All right, any other board communication? Anything? Oh, here we go. Yes.
Just a quick question, if you can answer, I don't know, but public hearing normally is done, and then there's a vote to adopt the policies. When is the vote to adopt these particular policies that were discussed tonight?
These are ongoing provisions. We don't have any new policies that we're adopting on this.
Okay.
So these are just hearings that we have on an annual basis, but there's not a policy that's related to this that's newly adopted.
Okay, so there's no vote to
No.
continue with the recommendation that was made for the school breakfast program or any of that? It's just the recommendation's made, you hold a public hearing, and then it's just enacted?
Correct. We just continue with what we've been doing on that. There's not a policy that says which schools we would hold breakfast at
Got
on
it.
that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, any other public comments? All right, with that, I think we need a motion to adjourn this very brief meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Do I have a second? Mrs. Vaughn?
I second.
Mrs. Tryon, second. Did you get that? Okay. All right, we are adjourned.